Why is sex so important to men? Let's dive right in. Sex is a basic instinct in all animals. Men have gone to war and conquered countries for sex. But do you really understand what makes men desire sex? There are three main components to understand: physical desire, emotional connection, and validation of masculinity. Why is sex so important to men? Let's dig in. First off, let's talk about physical desire. His physical desire deals with hormones, biology, and visual stimulation, all of which play a significant role in why sex is important to a man. Let's start by talking about testosterone. This hormone, which is produced in higher amounts in men than in women, is the fuel that powers the male libido. Testosterone is like the engine that drives a man's sexual desire. When testosterone levels are high, so is a man's desire for sex. It's a simple yet powerful biological fact. And then there's the aspect of biology. Men are biologically programmed to spread their genes, and one of the ways to do this is through sexual intercourse. It's a primal instinct that dates back to our ancestors, who needed to ensure the survival of their lineage. This biological programming is still very much a part of modern man, even if the goal isn't necessarily procreation. Now let's talk about visual stimulation. Men are, by and large, visual creatures. They are often stimulated by what they see. This is why the sight of an attractive woman can trigger a man's sexual desire. It's not just about superficial attractiveness, but also about the subconscious cues that suggest fertility and health. But it's not all about biology and visuals. Physical desire also has a lot to do with the pleasure and satisfaction that sex provides. The release of dopamine during sex creates a sense of euphoria, while the release of oxytocin promotes feelings of bonding and closeness. These feel-good chemicals make sex not just a physical act but a deeply satisfying experience. So there you have it. Physical desire is a complex mix of hormones, biology, visual stimulation, and the pursuit of pleasure. It's a potent cocktail that makes sex very important to a man. So physical desire is a significant driver, but what else is at play? Now let's explore the emotional side of things. Often we're led to believe that men are all about the physical, that sex for them is purely about satisfying a primal desire, and for some men, this is true. But most men need an emotional connection to truly enjoy the act of sex. You see, sex isn't just about the physical for most men. It's also about feeling an emotional connection and closeness to another person. It's about sharing a moment that allows two individuals to merge into one. For some men, sex is a language, a means of expression that not only feels good, but allows them to connect. It's a way for men to convey their feelings and emotions, to be vulnerable and feel close without saying a word. Sex can also be a source of comfort for men. In the embrace of someone he loves, a man can find comfort and reassurance. He can find a place where he's accepted and loved, and he can shed the mask he wears for the world. Moreover, sex can serve as a source of validation. It can make men feel wanted and desired, boosting their self-esteem and confidence. It can make them feel powerful and competent, reinforcing their sense of masculinity. Now, this isn't to say that sex is the only way men can connect emotionally or seek comfort, but it is an important aspect that plays a major part in their emotional well-being. So understand that sex for men is not just about physical satisfaction. It's also about emotional connection, about intimacy and closeness. It's about expressing feelings and seeking comfort. It's about feeling good physically and emotionally. But there's more to it than just physical and emotional aspects. Curious? Let's continue. Next up, let's talk about validation. Now, this may seem surprising to some, but sex is often tied to a man's sense of masculinity and self-worth. It's a concept that's deeply embedded in many societies and cultures around the globe. Picture this. Since boyhood, many men are taught, both directly and indirectly, that being sexually active is a sign of manliness. It's seen as a badge of honor, a way to prove their masculinity. They're encouraged to be strong, assertive, and dominant. So when they engage in sexual activity, it's not just about the physical aspect. It's about validating their masculinity. It's about feeling powerful and in control. But here's the thing. Societal and cultural expectations can often influence this perception. We live in a world where men are frequently pressured to conform to certain standards and norms. They're expected to be tough, to be providers, to be, well, manly. And these expectations can have a significant impact on how they view sex. For some men, sex becomes a way to show power by sleeping with a lot of women, while others view sex as a way to feel valued and needed in their masculinity. It's important to remember that every man will express his need for sex differently, and that's perfectly okay. Just understand that masculine validity is a necessary part of every man's sexual life. So, why is sex so important to men? Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We've seen that for many men, sex isn't just about physical desire, though that's undeniably a part of it. It's also about an emotional connection that creates a closeness. Moreover, it can be a way for men to validate their masculinity, to feel strong, capable, and desired. But remember, these are general observations, not hard and fast rules. Every man is different, with their own unique needs and desires. That's why understanding and communication are so vital in a relationship. It's about understanding your partner's needs, respecting them, and being able to communicate your own needs in return. Remember, open conversation and mutual respect are the keys to understanding each other's needs and desires. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and share.